The film opens in an unknown town in Malaysia. Our lead characters, Jun and Ling, have shown up for a business trip. Ling is an assistant accountant, and Jun is her supervisor. Mingled in love, the two are to be wed soon. Jun and Ling visit a casino somewhere in Malaysia on their business trip, where they strangely win every gambling game they play. The young couple wins a big bag stashed with cash, and decides to look for another place to stay the night since Ling feels weird staying at the current hotel. She's not comfortable with having so many gamblers around. Being the good lover he is, Jun agrees and they hit the road. Soon, Jun and Ling reach their destination point, a hotel named Amber Court. As their car moves closer to the hotel, they witness a crime scene where someone has jumped from a higher floor and taken her life in the compound area. Cops have the entire compound covered, among which there is Officer Chen, who tells Jun and Ling to move their car in the other direction. After parking their car, the lovebirds enter the hotel lobby and ask the receptionist for their room key. As Jun is dealing with the receptionist, Ling looks to the side and sees the ghost of an old lady and a child. This startles her for a moment, but it is only the beginning of what's about to come her way. Simultaneously, Officer Chen shows up and steals their room key, claiming that the room is currently under police inspection due to the ongoing case. After the officer leaves, the receptionist apologizes to them on Chen's behalf and hands them another room key. Suddenly, Ling sees the number 1174 on the key and gets paranoid because she has her own superstitious beliefs, according to which the numbers translate to "die one after another" in Mandarin. Ling immediately asks for another room, but the receptionist apologizes because no other rooms are available. Then, Jun convinces Ling and takes room 1174. When the couple takes the elevator, Ling keeps saying creepy stuff about the room number, but Jun twists everything into a joke and tells Ling to stay calm. They finally reach their floor and Jun takes a walk in the corridor and locates their room. Suddenly, Ling hears the cries of a woman. She walks in another direction and comes across the ghost of a crying woman and her child inside a lobby. The child tries to attack Ling, so she immediately closes the door and runs back into the corridor, where she bumps into Jun. When Jun opens the door, he finds nothing. Staying more logical and sensible, he takes Ling to her room while claiming she must be tired at this hour. Inside the room, Jun tries to lift Ling's dim mood. His efforts escalate to proposing to Ling with a paper ring. She becomes emotional and immediately accepts the proposal. Jun then tries to make love with her, but she insists on taking a shower first. Jun decides to go inside the bathroom and takes a shower, not noticing a long strand of hair near the drain on the floor. In the meantime, Ling goes live on her social platforms where she talks about her trip to Malaysia. The minute she ends her live stream, one of the bed drawers opens on its own behind her. As she goes to close the drawer, the TV turns on by itself. Suddenly, she sees a horrible face on the news, so she grabs the remote to turn it off. When she turns the TV off, she sees the reflection of a female ghost sitting on the bed right behind her. She loses her calm and immediately looks behind, only for the TV to get turned on again. When she turns it off the second time, she sees the reflection of the ghost right beside her. Her fear brings out the worst in her and she starts screaming. Jun immediately shows up to check on her and hugs her from behind, saying she must have seen his reflection. Subsequently, she gets Jun to take a look at the drawer. He closes the drawer and puts duct tape on it, because the pulley system of the drawer isn't functioning properly. Before they can spark romance, Jun gets a call from his office that stuns him. Getting a call at this hour raises Ling's suspicions, so she checks her phone to find out what's happening in their social circle. Upon checking her socials, she finds out about her coworker Yi dying under unknown circumstances. While Jun goes out to grieve on call, Ling stays inside the room and recalls how Yi purposefully seduced Jun. She once texted Ling to come to the rooftop to see her and Jun in action. After catching them in the act, Ling held a grudge against Jun and Yi, and such hatred stuck with her to this day. After recalling the disturbing time of her life, Ling falls asleep and dreams about the night when Jun cheated on her. During this flashback, Ling is working at her office, which is in Beijing, China. Jun arrives with dinner and requests her to eat before working. During this, Yi shows up with her seductive appearance and borrows Jun to fix the photocopy machine at the marketing department. Yi apologizes and states that she has a big case tomorrow, so Jun must come and help her with the photocopy machine. Before leaving, she also talks about their one-month business trip to Malaysia, adding that she has some unfinished business there, so she might join them on their trip to show them around, since she knows a lot of places there. Then, Yi winks at Jun as a way of seducing him and leaves. Ling is upset and expresses it, believing Jun to be attracted to Yi because she appears to be seductive and hot, unlike her. Jun immediately disagrees with her and explains that it's only in her head. Then, he promises to marry Ling once he saves enough money. Mid-conversation, Jun's gastric pain triggers and he starts feeling knots in his stomach. Ling immediately takes out his medicines and tries to give them to him, but Jun's neck starts bleeding. With this horrible sight of panic, Ling wakes up in the hotel room and realizes she's experiencing sleep paralysis where she's unable to move. During this, the bed drawer opens beside her and the ghost of a child comes out. He grabs Ling's arm and starts biting it. When she struggles to turn to her side, she finds the ghost of the crying lady lying beside her. She immediately snaps out of her paralysis and sees that Jun is not around. She puts on her clothes and wanders the corridors outside her room, looking for Jun. Meanwhile, Jun is found sitting on the staircase checking for phone signals. He hears the footsteps of someone coming down toward him and immediately gets up to check it, but he finds the staircase empty. This makes him realize something is terribly wrong with this place. Meanwhile, Ling approaches the crying lady she saw in the lobby and nicely asks what's wrong with her, not realizing she's a ghost. The ghost viciously starts banging on the door she's standing in front of. Poor Ling doesn't realize what she is approaching. The ghost then looks at her and scares her away. While screaming and shouting, she finds the ghost haunting her everywhere she goes. Jun finally shows up from behind and takes Ling in his arms. She immediately calms down and goes back to the room with Jun. Then, she asks him about his disappearance in the middle of the night. He apologizes, explaining that he went to look for the service staff so he could report the signal issue to them. As the two arrive outside their room, they find their next-door neighbor. He gives them a weird stare and strikes up a conversation about the room Jun and Ling are currently staying in. According to what he knows, a woman came here after losing all her money in gambling and took in their room. That woman then turned into a ghost who haunts anyone who stays in that room. Before the local drunkard can spill some more information on the evil spirits lurking in the hotel, he grows fearful and runs inside his room. Jun and Ling do not hesitate to complain about their room to the receptionists. They apologize and hand them a key to another room, despite claiming in the beginning that all their rooms were booked. However, the couple doesn't argue further. They take the new room and go about their way. As they open their new room, they find themselves still inside room 1174, their previous room. Suddenly, the power cuts off and the door starts banging. While Ling cries in fear, Jun shows courage and tries to open the door. As soon as he opens the door, a girl barges into their room and jumps off the bed. They see her fallen in the compound area, so they run downstairs to alert the hotel staff. In the lobby, they bump into Chen. They report to him about the current incident and drag him outside to take a look. Strangely, the compound has no signs of the fallen girl, so the officer tries to send them back inside while convincing them that what they have seen is not real. Ling finally admits that she cannot stand the place and demands to leave immediately. Before leaving, Jun suggests grabbing their money bag from their room first. The two take the elevator and successfully retrieve the bag from their room, but the evil spirits try to mess with their head and change their sense of reality. On their way back, the elevator doors open and the ghost of an old lady and her grandchild enter the elevator. Strangely, they can only be seen by Ling. The old lady tries to take them back to the upper floor, but Jun pushes the button and gets off the elevator on one of the middle floors. From there, they take the stairs and reach the ground floor, only to find themselves in front of room 1174 once again. This time, the ghost comes out and grabs Jun. This time, Ling shows courage and sets Jun free from the ghost's grip. However, she refers to the ghost as Yi, which Jun doesn't understand. The couple then makes it to the underground parking lot, where they take their car and flee. Ling sets the GPS to Kuala Lumpur, but the dark spirits hold so much influence on the things around them that they mess with the GPS as well, leading them in the wrong direction. Soon, they end up running out of gas in the middle of a spooky road that's surrounded by a forest. Out of options, Jun and Ling decide to call the car rental company, but their phones have no signal, making the worst decision of his life. Jun claims to have seen a gas station somewhere behind them, so he plans to go out to fetch some gas for their car. Despite Ling's disapproval, Jun convinces her to stay inside the car and leave. A few minutes later, something heavy gets dropped on Ling's car, making her extremely fearful. It gets worse when she sees a bloodied hand approaching her window from above. Coming to the rescue, Chen shows up in his police car. He instructs Ling not to look at what's above her and get out. She manages to get out of her car and into Chen's, but she peeks at what is above her. She is shaken when she sees a female ghost chewing on Jun on top of their car. She cries for help, wanting to save Jun, but Chen keeps driving straight. However, the evil spirit does not stop there. She messes with Chen and Ling by showing them Jun's body. Due to this, Chen makes a sharp turn and almost gets run over by a giant truck. To save himself from the truck, he takes another turn, but they crash into a tree on the side of the road. The film takes a psychological twist when Ling opens her eyes. She finds herself inside a strange hospital where the nurses claim she was in a coma the entire day. Ling appears to be bruised and crippled, so the nurses forcefully inject a sedative into her and put her back to sleep.